Have you ever walked into a store or tried to buy something online and suddenly found yourself stuck between options, trying to figure out what's better, what's smarter, what's more worth it? You look at the prices and you hesitate, and somehow you keep going back and forth. This one seems okay, but that one feels like a better deal, but then the next one feels like an even better deal. Not because you plan to, but because it feels like the smartest choice. But what if I told you you were being guided toward that decision on purpose? Stay with me until the end of this video, because I'm going to show you something that will change the way you make decisions. You'll start to understand why you pick certain options instead of just believing you made the right one. Imagine you walk into a movie theater. Nothing serious, nothing complicated. You just want to buy popcorn. It's a simple decision, something you've done many times before. You look up at the menu and you see three options: a small popcorn for $3, a medium popcorn for $6, and a large popcorn for $7. Now, pause for a second and really think about it. What would you choose? Most people don't pick the small because it feels too little. But here's the interesting part. They also don't pick the medium. Almost everyone jumps straight to the large. And the reason feels logical. It's only $1 more and I get so much more. It feels like a smart move, like you're maximizing value, like you're making a rational decision. But here's what's actually happening beneath the surface. That medium option was never meant to be chosen. It was placed there to make the large option look more attractive. Without the medium, the jump from 3 to 7 would feel big, maybe even unnecessary. But with the medium sitting in between, suddenly 7 feels reasonable, even like a bargain. And in that moment, without realizing it, your decision has been shaped. This phenomenon is known as the decoy effect, a concept introduced by behavioral economist Dan Ariely. It describes a situation where an additional option is introduced not to be selected, but to influence the way you perceive the other options. The decoy is intentionally designed to be less attractive than one option, so that the other option appears superior by comparison. And the moment that comparison is created, your perception shifts. You don't realize it, but you're no longer evaluating what you truly need. You're evaluating what looks better relative to something else. Your brain is not built to make absolute decisions. It struggles to evaluate things in isolation. Instead, it relies on comparison. It constantly looks for reference points, contrasts, and differences. It asks, which one is better compared to the others? Rather than asking, is this actually valuable to me? And this is where manipulation becomes possible. Because once your brain starts comparing, it becomes predictable. It can be guided. It can be influenced. The presence of a weaker option makes another option look stronger, even if that stronger option wasn't your best choice to begin with. And the more complex the decision, the more your brain leans on these shortcuts. Now let's look at something even more common. You go to a website and you see 3 subscription plans. Basic for $10, Standard for $18, and Premium for $20. At first glance, it seems like a fair range of options. But then your mind starts comparing. The jump from 10 to 18 feels significant, but the jump from 18 to 20 feels small. So naturally, you think, if I'm already paying 18, why not just pay 20 and get everything? And just like that, you move toward the premium option. But here's the reality. That middle plan exists mainly to make the premium feel like a better deal. If it wasn't there, you might hesitate more. You might question whether you even need the premium at all. But because of that one strategically placed option, your perception changes. This doesn't just happen with subscriptions. It happens everywhere. Think about electronics like phones or laptops. You often see 3 versions: a basic model, a mid-range model, and a slightly more expensive high-end model. And most people end up choosing the high-end version, not because they truly need it, but because it looks like the best value compared to the one right before it. And this doesn't just apply to products or money. It applies to your life, your decisions, your choices, your direction. How many times have you chosen something not because it was truly right for you, but because it seemed better than the alternative? A job that felt good enough compared to something worse. A relationship that seemed acceptable compared to being alone. A lifestyle that looked reasonable because others had less. Sometimes the decoy is not a product. Sometimes it's a situation, a comparison, a reference point that shifts how you see your own life. So the real question is no longer, which option is better? The real question becomes, why do these options exist in the first place? Who benefits from you choosing this? What is shaping your perception? And once you start asking these questions, something changes. You become more aware, more intentional. You stop reacting automatically, and you start thinking more deeply about your choices. Because once you truly see this pattern, you can't unsee it. You begin to notice it everywhere. You pause before deciding. You question what seems obvious. And you realize that the smartest decision is not always the one that looks like the best deal. Sometimes, it's the one that stands outside the comparison entirely. The one that is based on your real needs, your real values, not the way options were presented to you. Have you ever noticed something like this in your life? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for staying with me until the end of the video. I'd love it if you subscribe to my channel to see more of my content.